This is Unleash Your Inner Legend, a podcast featuring modern-day legends sharing their life choices, habits, and routines that got them to where they are today. Get ready to be inspired and to take massive action to unleash your inner legend. What's going on, everyone? It's Holly here, and just want to give you some insight on this episode of Monday Minutes. So one thing that kind of shifted my perspective lately, and I just wanted to share with you guys, is really the philosophy on become interesting by being interested. So I've always lived by the quote, be interested, not interesting. Since embracing that philosophy, it has helped me establish professional relationships and lifelong friends. I mean, what better way to be interested in someone than to have them on your podcast as an interview style, right? So I've always embraced that, and it's always been, it's always treated me well. And then my perspective shifted like last week while I attended 10X Growth Con. And love him or hate him, Grant Cardone is a smart marketer. He makes people pay attention to him. I mean, if you want to pay attention to him or not, he's there. And he has really accomplished this by being interesting, right? Not being interested. And if you haven't heard of him yet, I mean, just go and find him on YouTube. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But he shared in one of his sessions at 10X Growth Con that of his opinion on the whole be interested, not interesting, and pretty much said that that was a load of BS. Now, keep in mind, I'm attending this conference with an open mind. Obviously, there's always something you learn from anyone, and I'm definitely not selling out a conference with 12,000 seats. So he has to be doing something right. Am I right? So anyways, listening to that, I really kind of leaned in because it caught my attention because obviously, like I said, I've embraced this philosophy. I had an open mind, so instead of shutting out his advice, I gave it a listen. And he spoke on how his interesting personality has taken him from being, the drug addict to becoming a huge name in the real estate and sales industry. And I can't argue with that, and I think a lot of people can't. At first, the first time I watched him on a video, I really thought he was a little bizarre. So then I started thinking maybe he's right, and then also maybe there's some truth into being interested as well. And you're probably wondering, that makes no sense. How can that be the same? How can both be right? So I've had so many people say, man, you're such an interesting person, which really blows me away because I don't let a lot of people know who I am. I focus on being interested and not interesting. But there's a cool thing that happens when you do that. You start to form these relationships with people, and you have these interviews of people you've never dreamed that you'd ever be sitting in the same room with them, let alone interviewing them. And then people start asking who is Holly and why do all these people want to talk to her? Even having people say who is Holly? Why would this drummer of Sum 41, or why would the guitarist of Third Eye Blind, or why would Jasmine Star? They start kind of taking notice of that. So really, if you don't have to be crazy to be interesting. I mean, obviously, if that's your thing, I think it's great. My personality type, I'm not the one to call attention to myself in that way. So that's hard for me to do. But by being interested, I've become interesting. You try to learn and focus on others so much that everyone takes notice, and then they start being curious about you. People love the whole mystery dynamic, and they love it whenever you leave knowing more about them than they know about you. That's when they start becoming interested. So I hope that makes sense for you guys. I would love to hear your feedback, love to hear your thoughts on this. Feel free to reach out to me. Until next week, you guys, I'll catch you soon. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Unleash Your Inner Legend. For more inspiration, make sure to subscribe by going to unleashyourinnerlegend.com. We'll see you guys next week.